Welcome everybody. It's 5:30 and we're going to start the April 26, 2018 Mayor and Alderman Workshop. The prayer is going to be with Vice Mayor Green. The Pledge of Allegiance will be by myself. Everybody needs to look over the minutes for April the 3rd, 2018 public hearing and the regular meeting. Skipping down through the department heads, we're down to old business. Number 3, motion to approve or reject bids for asphalt, paving, and material bids. This item was deferred the last 2 months.
Yes, sir.
We got it again this month.
Yes, sir, we do. So I'm up here. Do we have any questions? This was a bid that was for 3 years. We're asking it to be awarded to Rogers Group. We have a list that was attached of all the streets that they would like to pave over the next 3 years. Mr. Russell would like to get started soon with some of the money he has left in this year's budget. So do we have any questions?
Anybody got any questions on the asphalt bidding?
Please, if we do ask them. Okay.
What was the reasoning for the hold up on the last 2 months? Did anybody speak to you on that? Why was it deferred?
I have no clue, sir.
Mayor Waldron, I made a motion to approve, and I couldn't get a second last month, so that's why it was delayed again. I have no questions.
Okay. I will be back.
I guess if it's not approved Tuesday, it'll be deferred again.
Please don't. Please do not defer it.
Well, nobody's asking any questions, so, no other thing said, we'll move to number 4. This second reading, ordinance 2018-06 is an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 drug fund budget. This is basically, we do this every year, right, Bruce?
Yes, sir.
And this is second reading on it. Any question on number 4? Number 5, second reading ordinance 2018-07. Ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 police impact fee fund budget. This is another thing that we do every year. Any questions on number 5? Number 6, second reading ordinance 2018-08, ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 Parks Capital Fund budget. Any questions on number 6? Number 7 is second reading ordinance 2018-09, ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 general fund budget. Number 8, second reading ordinance 2018-10, ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 water and sewer budget. Any questions on the water and sewer budget? That puts us down to number 9, second reading ordinance 2018-11, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 storm water fund budget. When that puts us down to consent agenda. Felicia, is this your?
Well, I'm going to let Jamie go first, if you'd like, since we've got the water treatment plant.
Jamie with Griggs and Maloney.
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen. On April 24th, 2018, we opened bids for the 2017-2018 Water Treatment Plant Capital Improvements Project. We received 2 bids. They were publicly opened and read aloud. The parent low bidder was W&O Construction out of Livingston, Tennessee, for a total bid amount of $999,000. I'm sorry, $999,131 for the base bid plus the 5 additive alternates defined in the packet. We recommend award of this project to W&O Construction. Do you guys have any questions? Okay, thank you.
I
I'm
promised
just coming
I'd be
up for the
back.
first item on the list.
Okay.
I promised I'd be back.
The first item would be the bus for the Senior Citizen Center.
Right.
Yes, sir. Do we have any questions?
Well, I think me and AC talked before the meeting, and AC, you wanna tell
I
them?
had checked around and, you know,
Whoa, before we go any further, we cannot make any changes.
Right.
If this is a bid. If you do not want the bid as it is, we need to go back and rebid.
Okay.
We can't make any changes to it once the bid's done.
Okay.
No, I just want that to be known. We can't make any
Need to
changes.
explain what you're referring to.
But
Well, if
I do
referring
know you were
to
talking
is
about
is
doing
a bus, you know, me and AC, I mentioned AC, you know, I'd like to see it handicap accessible. And AC, I think you made a couple phone calls before this.
just
and
to
the-
check around to see what.
Check
it
around,
costs.
and the person we was get the van from said that could be easily, put on this
A couple
bus.
of calls I made said it was just a matter of changing the back doors
Yeah.
to double doors. And, but of course, I don't know who's getting the bid, so I didn't, you know, I just called a couple places and that's what they said.
Okay.
For about $7,000 or depending on who you call, but
Right.
just the person that I talked to had said that.
Okay.
But the one we have now is not handicap, you know, accessible.
Right.
And,
But you did say if we do purchase this van, it can be retrofitted, right?
well, you can always go back and change whatever you need to
Okay,
change. yeah,
okay.
yeah.
That might be the best thing to do, is just go ahead with it then if we ever decide it, we can
If it
just
comes
send
to
it
that,
back.
Yeah,
And we can,
if we ever need it.
yeah.
right. I know, we probably don't need it now, but I was just thinking in the future. I know
Well, and I
some people that's handicapped, you know, they would have a hard time getting on the bus. you
Well,
know.
we have to be careful too, not to get into a special needs kind of thing, because we're not equipped for that, and our staff is not trained for that type of thing either. So we gotta be careful, because that becomes a liability to us, but, you know, right now, the way it is, you know, we don't have, I think we have a couple seniors who use walkers, but they're self-sufficient.
Yeah.
They're not special needs.
Right,
so.
right. It might be just best just to leave it alone, and if we need it later date, just go back and have it retrofitted, I guess.
All right, you're on your own.
All right.
Gee, thanks. Okay, what do you have? Okay. The next one is for the, some replacement desktop workstations. That is off of an NJPA contract pricing. Any questions on that? And then we have the batwing mower for the street department. That is also, the Woods batwing mower is off of a NJPA price. Be $11,464, and we had figured $15,000, so that's under budget. The tire balancer for the fleet department, that would be through an NJPA contract with O'Reilly's. I believe that came in under budget, under the budgeted amount or what we thought it would be as well. Any questions? I'll continue. Then we have the citywide auto parts replacement for parts that are not dealer-only items. We've been using the state contract with O'Reilly, but they have the NJPA pricing. It's a little bit better than the state pricing this time. Any questions? We have the police radios for the state contract for the radios for the police cars that have been ordered. And then we have the radar units for the police cars that are state contract. Any questions? Then we have all the other miscellaneous equipment using state and Murfreesboro contract. Computers, NIPA for the computers for the police department, for the vehicles. Okay, then we have a hydraulic water pump, a hydraulic pump for the water department. I have 3 quotes. We are asking to go with one that's not the cheapest, but they have more equipment that comes with it, and it is a better quality. Michael would like to go with that one, so we're recommending that. I'm gonna skip the wall rotor and take a minute because I didn't do that. And then we've got the stormwater building and the fire admin building. On April the 4th, I believe it was, we had some very bad storm damage. And we're gonna get to replace both those roofs completely with insurance, but we are gonna have to pay about $400 or $500, I think, out of pocket. Anything else for me?
Is that you?
That's me.
Who's got 12? Is that CTI? Is that Mr. Hall?
Is that CTI or Michael?
Michael, you got it?
Unless Shane wants to back there. Mayor Alderman, good afternoon. If y'all remember, a couple months back, we had the motor on pump number 3 at the water plant failed. Basically, at that time, we felt like we needed to get an emergency PO. We had pump number 1 that was working, but due to the flange work that is needed, it wasn't reliable. So if we had an event where pump 2 failed, we basically wouldn't be able to get the water in, get the water out. So we made an emergency purchase with Wascon to get that motor repaired. Just want to let you all know. Any questions?
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Puts you down to B. Who's got 13B? Rutherford County Crimson Tide, youth baseball, football, cheerleading.
Yeah, that's just, Mayor, that's the same, looking for approval for the contract from last year. Nothing's changed on it really, everything's similar.
What about C, Paradise Amusements?
That is also for the Carnival for Old Timers Festival.
That's the same one we used last year?
That's the same ones, yeah.
He promised he's gonna come back
Yeah,
and be bigger and better.
Much bigger and better, yeah. I mean, they were really good last year anyway, so, yeah, that was
Yeah, I
good.
heard a lot of good things about the carnival from people.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I think he actually said he was gonna bring back a couple of bigger rides too. I mean, they did, I thought they were really good last year.
It was busy down there.
Yeah, yeah. And if you look under that, pyro shows for the 4th of July is on there as well. And we've not had any issues with them either. They do a really good job.
They do a good job.
Trying to talk him into bringing a couple of, 6-inch shells, but, but they do a great job, so.
Not getting off the path too much, but, Billy and them used to do the fireworks for the Christmas thing.
Yeah, and they always do that free of charge too.
Yeah. Have you talked to them, see if they might be interested? I know they sold out or leased out. I don't know if they'll be able to do it this year or not.
It's been kind of hard to get in touch with anybody with the back and forth going on down there, but we'll definitely talk to them again before our next event that we might want to use them for.
I know at Old Timers Day and then the 4th of July, our fireworks, and I ain't bashful to say it, we've been beating Smyrna's fireworks to the tooth and nail for years.
I agree, and I've heard that too, not just from Laverne residents, but from Smyrna residents saying the same thing. Boy, y'all, theirs is better than ours, Smyrna's, and I'm like,
Well, we've always had a good fireworks show, even on Old Timers Day.
That's right. That's right.
What about E, contract on the Department of Transportation providing route maintenance? That's the mowing, ain't it?
That's
On Murfreesboro Road, that's Garland, that's what that is, ain't it? And then, approved change order 1 for Fergus Road, drainage basin. I knew you was gonna be up, Mr. Hall.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. I think I'm setting a personal record tonight with 3 items on the consent agenda.
Yeah,
The first item is change order 1 for the Fergus Road Drainage Basin Sewer System Evaluation Survey. It's actually just a bit of housekeeping. to balance the work performed with the bid quantities, and it actually reduces the contract by $4,135.84. So I would ask the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to approve change order 1 for that project.
Then I think
Yes,
G
sir.
is also yours.
And it's also a housekeeping change order to balance installed quantities with work performed with bid quantities, and it actually reduces the contract amount by $100, but it is a reduction. So that will balance out the bid quantities and installed quantities, and I would recommend that the board also approve change order 2 for the Hollandale Drainage Basin Sewer Rehab.
Put you down to, I know that one, George, 'cause it's got your name on it.
Yes, sir. The next one is a contract between the City of Laverne and CTI Engineers for design and construction phase services for the Chaney Woods Interceptor sewer segments 4 and 3. Those were identified in the sewer master plan, in fact, both sewer master plans that we've done. And it's become obvious with the amount of development that has requested availability in that basin that interceptor needs to go ahead and get replaced, upgraded in size. And this is our contract for design and construction phase services, also some cost plus fees for surveys, permits, and easement prep.
Any questions for the last 3 items for Mr. Hall? Great deal. It's always good when you get up here and you giving us money back or saving us money.
Well, in this case, I'd like to ask you for more than I'm giving back, but I do appreciate the opportunity to give some back.
Thank you, Mr. Hall.
Thank
Thank you very
you.
much. That puts us down to new business. Number 11, first reading ordinance 2018-12, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2017-2018 Senior Citizens Fund budget. This is something we do every year. Any questions on it? It's basically self-explanatory, but it is new business. Number 12, first reading ordinance 2018-13, an ordinance of the City of Laverne, Tennessee, to adopt an annual budget and tax rate for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2018 through June 30th of 2019. Bruce, you want to speak a little bit on this?
Yes, sir. What is in your packets is the draft ordinance as we currently have it. If you go down to section 10 of the ordinance, it talks about the proposed tax rate, property tax rate for next year. I've been exchanging some emails with the county property assessor, Rob Mitchell. He did send me this number today. It is a very preliminary number. He said that they still have some adjustments they need to make, and they still have to send it to the State Board of Equalization in order to get their approval on it. So this could change. This is not a final number. I don't know if we will have that final number by Tuesday. I have my doubts, to be honest with you. So if we do not have that number, the final number by Tuesday, what we're going to recommend is that it be deferred until we get that final rate, and then we'll have a special meeting to approve it on first reading, and then we'll have to kind of figure out, because of advertising requirements and whatnot, when we'll have to have the second reading. We still have time, obviously. It doesn't have to be approved before the end of June, or I should say it has to be approved by the end of June. So that's where we are. We will just have to, if it's not ready by Tuesday, we'll have to kind of play it by ear and make sure we get everything scheduled and advertised as required.
But as long as we get the final reading in the meeting of June, we'll be all right.
Correct.
I know I've got a lot of people who spoke to me over the few weeks about the reappraisals. You know, when the county reappraises your property at a higher rate, makes your house value more, and the more your house is value, the more the taxes you pay. So we adopt a certified rate. It sort of look we ain't got it official yet, but it looks like it's going to be in the mid-70s, hopefully in the mid-70s. So the city's at a 95 cents now at last year's appraisal. The new appraisal comes down, and we might have to adjust the rate down to in the maybe 73, 74, 75, whatever the
Just depends on
state
what
tells us the certified rate.
What that certified
But
rate is.
is it always an even? Is it,
It's supposed to be a tax neutral number. And it counts the whole city as a
but
group.
it's like, it won't be like a 73 and a half, it'll be 73 or 74.
Well, no, we cannot round up. Okay, if it's 73.8, we cannot round up without going through special advertising requirements, because that would be exceeding.
But we can
Certified.
drop it down, like if it come back at 73 and a quarter, we can drop it down to the next lower rate.
Yes, you could drop it down to 73 even, or if it's 73.8, you could drop it down to 73.
Because we at what, 90,
95.
95, we're at 95 with an even rate, so we can drop it down and don't have to do anything. So if it
Correct.
comes like 90, like 74 and a quarter, or 74 and an eighth, we can drop it down to an even number.
Yes,
Good deal.
Just to confirm, Bruce, that the certified rate would basically make it so that residents are paying the exact, or right around what they're paying currently, the previous year.
I mean, they take the city as a whole. So each individual house, it may or may not be the exact same, but as a group, it's supposed to be a tax neutral number. We're not going to get any more taxes off the city than what we did before. But each individual home, it might be different. I mean, it just depends on.
Some people might be paying less, and
Depends
some
on how
people
much
might be
their
paying a little bit
appraisals
more.
Go up, so it all depends on the numbers.
I know, my tax bill came back and my house was, I think 25% valued 25% more, so my house jumped from X amount of dollars to 25% more. And I've noticed some other people's houses that raised 40%. So that's what was confusing with a lot of people. Just say, well, how you going to justify 25% to 40%?
Right. I think the city as a whole increased about 49%.
Right.
Yeah, they had,
Areas.
on the news, they had some areas of Lake Forest were 55%,
Right.
and that we were leading the county as far as, increase in values.
Correct.
It's kind of a double-edged sword because when I received my property assessment, I was shocked how much they thought my house was worth. But knowing that there is an adjustment for that kind of gives me a little bit of peace. But on the other side of the coin, yes, I may have more taxes to pay, but now I have way more equity in my home than I thought I did. So that's, kind of one way to look at it. Obviously, we can't change it, so that's the way I look at it. That gives me peace at night,
But we can adopt, we have the option to leave it like it is, to adopt the certified rate, or to even lower it.
Well, if you adopt the rate that we currently have, the 95, obviously the taxes would go up considerably, but there are special advertising provisions that we have to have, a special public hearing, because we would be exceeding that certified rate. As long as you're meeting that certified rate or below, you still have to have a public hearing, but you don't have to have the special advertisement that you're going to exceed the rate, the certified rate.
I think a lot of confusion with a lot of people is that, like my house increased 25%, but then other people's houses increased 40%. So they was unsure about how, if they was going to pay the same, if the certified rate come down to like 75 cents, that was just 20 cents down from 95, but theirs went up 40%. They was confused about how that they was going to pay less or the same when the value was more.
Right.
When the
it's
value
very
was
easy to
more.
understand. I mean, it is confusing. It's easy to understand why that is confusing, I should say. But when you're looking at that certified rate, they're taking the entire city as one. They're grouping everybody together and making sure that our revenues are not any higher than they were last year.
But it may be that if we adopt the certified tax rate, that some residents in Laverne, dollar for dollar, they will be paying more on their tax bill.
Yes, that is possible.
And then some will be paying the same, and then very, very few probably will be paying less.
Theoretically, yes.
Yeah. All right. But that's what people was calling me, and they was confused about. They said, well, am I going to have to be paying more or less? And I said, well, it's kind of confusing because one house value went up 25 and the one went up 40. And I said, I really can't explain how much more or less you're going to be paid by the percentage of it. Mm-hmm. It looks good that your house is gone up 40%, but then on the other hand, you're going to pay more money. Mm-hmm. You're going to pay more money for your house going up. But anyway, it is what it is, I guess.
Right. Of course, we have no control over it because the county is the one.
Well, we have no control over the certified rate, but now we do have control over what we consider that.
Right. But you also.
And I think that's what's confusing. A lot of people were saying that they was told we had to go by the certified rate. But we don't have to go by the certified rate.
No, you could go higher or lower. It just depends on if you go higher, there's special rules you have to follow compared to if you go.
But if we go lower, or we don't have to follow no guidelines.
If you go lower, you still have to look at your budget numbers to make sure you're going to have enough to cover your budget for next year.
Mm-hmm. That's what was confusing for a lot of people. They said, well, it looks like I'm going to have to pay more. I said, well, just, you know, I just told them it hadn't been certified yet. That's just, I guess, the only answer I could give them. The old saying, to kick the can down the road, you know, because I didn't have no scientific straight answer to tell them.
Right.
But anyway, any other questions on the number 12?
I just have one little comment. We might want to, once the rate is certified and we set the property tax rate, we may want to put on a calculator on the website just so people can easily type in what it is their home is valued at now. Because it is a little confusing, so maybe they can compare what they paid last year then with the calculator for this year.
I know if I was going to sell my house, I'd be all for my house to be 40% higher, but if I was going to live there another 20 years and I had to pay another $300 or $400 a month, I might not be so happy about that. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we'll move on to number 13. It's a resolution 2018-07, a resolution to write off uncollectible property tax accounts. This is, I think, something that's done through the county, right, Bruce?
Yes, sir. The county, on April the 5th, dismissed property taxes that had not been paid. And I believe they're 10 years old when they do that. Once that's kind of their lifespan. If they're not paid after 10 years, the county basically dismisses them and makes them where we cannot collect them. So what we do is, in turn, we basically write them off as uncollectible.
What happens in the meantime, in the first year to the 10th year? Don't the county tack on a lien on the property?
Well, the first thing that happens, obviously, you know, we send them a notice after the first year, and then they have to, I think, to the end of the second year before it's sent to Chancery Court. And then Chancery Court tries to collect those taxes, and they continue to try to do that until the 10-year period is up. I don't know exactly how the lien comes into play or how they determine what they're going to sell or anything like that to collect the taxes. That's something the county does, and I don't know how they do that.
But after the first year, it's out of our hands, right? It goes to the county.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay. Any question on number 13?
Just one question, Bruce. Are some of these from bankruptcies?
Could be bankruptcy. Some of them are personal property taxes. But yeah, I mean, they're just different things. And I don't know, I couldn't tell you what would be a bankruptcy and what would not, but some of them could be.
Okay.
14, Resolution 2018-08, a resolution to accept the McFarlin Pointe Phase 11 subdivision. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission March 27th, 2018. I don't know if anybody here to speak on this item I'd say, Bo, is that you?
Yes, sir. Mayor Adam.
Adam? Who gonna speak on it? I guess the biggest thing, I'm sure that the planning commission wouldn't have recommended if all items hadn't been met.
That's correct, Mayor. The punch list for the subdivision has been completed by the developer. Everything was cleared up. There were some stormwater issues that had to be addressed. They gave us their as-built plans. They were signed off by the engineer of record. Their maintenance bond was tendered, and we have their revocable deed transferring all public property to the city. So at
They
least,
have resolved the drainage issues.
yes, they needed to clean their pond out, and they did that in a timely manner.
Okay, great.
Glad to
Thank
see
you.
this up here, because this is something that their HOA was recently asking about, was if this was gonna go through or even be on the agenda, so glad to see it.
Yes, sir.
It's been a long time coming.
Very well.
Puts down to number 15, it's another resolution, 2018-09, a resolution of the City of Laverne Board of Mayor and Aldermen to declare property owned by the city to be surplus to the needs and direct in the disposal of the same. What do we got we're getting rid of? There you go.
This is all public works equipment. There's 2 vehicles included, and then the remainder is public works equipment, including some things from the water treatment plant, the MIOX units, and several storage tanks. But I think everything's located down at Public Works.
And all these items, they're sold on
Gov deals.
gov deals. Ain't none of them sold like they used to years ago at public auction. It's all online.
Correct.
That's another question I get asked a lot. People says, when's going to be your next auction? I said, well, everything's online. Any questions? Number 15, Resolution 2018-9, resolution of the City of Laverne Mayor, Board of Mayor and Aldermen. No, we done 15.
We're at 16.
We down to 16. Bruce, this is probably you. Point and remove board members.
Yes, sir. The first one is the Planning Commission. Susan Ermel has resigned. We have just begun advertising this on Channel 3, so we do not have any applications yet. At this point, I would recommend that we defer this until the next month so that we can get some applications in and then let the mayor make that appointment at the June meeting.
Can we do that? We'll have to do that at Tuesday's meeting deferred.
Yes, we can defer it Tuesday at that meeting and bring it up the following month.
And we got B, Senior Citizen Advisory Committee.
Yes, sir. Senior citizens, we have one vacancy, Rachel O'Brien. We've just started advertising this position on Channel 3. I believe I've got one application already in hand. We're double checking with him to see if he still wants to apply. Not heard back from him yet. But I suspect he'll still want to apply because it was just last month, I believe, that he applied previously. So if he still wants to be on the committee, his application will be in the packets. Any others that we get between now and Tuesday, we'll add in the list as well.
We're down to Beer Board.
This is just an FYI at this point because it literally just happened last week. We had Anthony Honeycutt has resigned from the board. I did get that confirmation from him. And also Michael Jolly is resigning at the end of May. He'll be moving, both are moving out of the city. So we've just begun advertising this on Channel 3, and hopefully we'll get some good applications in time for the June Mayor Alderman meeting.
I want to say Michael Jolly, he has been a long-time resident of Laverne, and he has served on numerous boards, and I want to say I appreciate Michael Jolly for all his volunteer work over the number of years. I appreciate his dedication to Laverne, and I hate that he's moving, and we're going to miss him. Number 17, discuss resolution for a safe room grant at Senior Citizen Center. AC, that's got to be you and David.
And I'm happy to be talking about this. Jamie, you need to come on up here. She's gonna try to sit back here and I come up here, but I'm gonna make her come up here anyway. because we couldn't have done it without her. Just so y'all know, we've not discussed it a whole lot because we don't want to get our hopes up and then have, you know, something happen before happen again. So what this is technically called a community safe space. It's it doubles as a storm shelter, tornado shelter, or community building, kind of like a multi-purpose building. Under the hazmat mitigation program, there's a grant available that we had to fill out a lengthy application for that Jamie was hugely instrumental in helping us get this done. She doesn't take near enough credit because it was a big application. Her and Monteque did a fantastic job. We actually hand-delivered it last Friday because we wanted to make sure nothing went wrong, so drove down there and dropped it off. Our benefit cost analysis score had to be higher than a 1, which you wouldn't think would be very hard to get. Ours was a 6.6. Well, I don't know a whole lot about those, but the girl up down there told me that it was the most thorough, best application she'd ever seen. So that's why I wanted to bring Jamie up here, because she's a large part of that. Her and Monteque both. The share breakdown is 75% the state, 25% for the city's portion. But the governor has also approved for 12.5% of that to be state funded as well. So the building is, what, 7,150 square feet. So it's enormous. It's a big building. And all we need from the board is approval and a resolution letter. So far, it's just a draft. Once we get a resolution letter, we'll be able to give that to TEMA, and then they will turn it into FEMA in July.
And it may be that we could get other funding to kick on with it, like the
A lot of
Christian
that will be
Houston.
in-kind stuff, kind of like we did with the wall, the Veterans Wall, and also with the playground back in Lake Forest.
And it's a good chance we could get enough funding to do almost 100% on it.
Well, I just want to get it. So I'm really excited about it, but that's what we need. But I did want to come up and share this information with y'all so y'all would know exactly what it is.
You know, I was on the board 5 or 6 years ago, and we applied for something like that 5 or 6 years ago, but I was kind of confused about what happened back then.
Well, there were 2 different ones. There was one that was in 2010 that apparently the city, I'm not sure how it happened, but the city was granted, they were given approval for the grant, and then somebody had told them, never mind, we don't want it. Well, when you do that, it makes your score go down. Ours was a 5, it went down to a 4 because of that. And like I said, I don't know anything about it or what the grant was even for, but hopefully it won't affect us this time. It looks like all our ducks are in a row to the point to where, you know, that we're a good candidate for it. And before the last one, when we were looking at a safe room, there were several other cities in the running for that same amount of funding, and there were like 4 or 5 in front of us. So that's probably, that money went to the people that were in line in front of us before it got to us. So, but this, I don't know how many people have turned in applications. There have been 17 inquiries. I know ours is about the best one they've ever seen, so.
You guarantee them to tell them that we definitely want it.
Oh, yeah, they know.
We definitely want
That's
it.
why I took it down there, so there wouldn't be no mistake about it. And thanks again, Jamie, and her and Monteque both, like I said, have done a really good job. So I'll keep y'all posted. If we get this, we get it turned in, I'll let y'all know what's going on.
I know we're all excited about that.
And AC, this would be on the same property as where the current senior center is?
It'd be right next door, right there on that same property.
Okay.
We already own that property, so we're good to go with that.
We're good to go.
That's where the old Pee Wee field, part of the old Pee Wee field
Yep.
used to be.
Yep.
So we're ready to go.
Yep.
Thank you, AC.
And I think we'll have this resolution on the agenda for Tuesday night, correct?
Correct, yes.
So this will be on the agenda.
That way
for
we can
Tuesday.
turn it in as soon as possible, and then we're good to go when July rolls over.
One
That-
question.
huh?
Is that a 90-10 grant?
Huh?
Did you say if it was a 90-10 grant?
It was a 75-25 grant.
75-25?
Yeah, but 12.5% of that we're still eligible to get from the state, so.
And then also, we might be able to get some more funding from like the Christie
usable
Houston
space,
and
yeah.
different, so we could get 95% before it's over with, but
Could happen.
if we get 75%, we'll go with it.
Well,
Let's
I mean,
work.
and they said also that, you know, with the mobile homes that we have here and the amount of schools that are concentrated in one area, they've never seen a better candidate for it because.
Well, that's what they
we
told us
needed
back in
something awful.
2010.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we was ranked up high then, but
Well, we're gonna stay after them this time, so.
but tell them that we definitely want it, no questions asked.
That's right, I will.
Thank y'all. Y'all done a
All right,
great
thank
job.
you.
Number 18, discussion the city administrator's performance review.
Good evening, Mayor, Aldermen. I am happy to provide the results of our city administrator's performance evaluation for 2018. The actual performance review has a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being excellent, 4 above average, 3 average, 2 below average, and 1 poor. There are 10 sections, and I'm pleased to announce that in Section 1, under individual characteristics, the overall score was 4.33. In Section 2, professional skills and status, the overall score 4.52. Section 3, relations with elected members of governing body, the overall score is 4.44. Section 4 is policy execution, the overall score is 4.64. And Section 5, it entails reporting, the overall score is 4.56. Section 6, citizen relations, the overall score is 4.16. Section 7, staffing, the overall score is 4.40. Section 8, under supervision, the overall score is 4.10. Section 9, fiscal management, the overall score is 4.48. Section 10 is the community, the overall score is 4.52. Total score for all sections averages to be 4.42, which is in the above average category. So we want to commend our city administrator, and we want to commend our council for providing the overall review for our annual requirement. So again, thank you, Bruce. You have served our city well based on the report that has been given here. And we want to commend you for a job well done. And we hope that everyone will understand that it's a tough job being the city administrator.
Amen.
It's a very tough role, and we want to commend Bruce for the fine job that he does in serving the city of Laverne.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Bruce, I also want to thank you for the great job you've done, and the employees and the staff members. The city's come a long way in the last 3.5 years, and it shows with the chief and Ricky with the lower ISO rating and the lower the crime. We've lowered, the city's been fortunate to lower the deficit almost $3 million, and the city is ranked in the top rank in the cities across Tennessee in numerous categories. So it has a lot to do. I've always said it starts down with the employees, department heads, the staff, and the whole group, and even this board's. But we've come a long way in the last 3.5 years, and the city is going to continue to move forward. And I thank you for your hard work, Bruce. A lot of the credit will have to go to you because you're the person who controls it from day-to-day operations. And the actions that you, the city attorney, the department head does, makes us look good up here, and I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much, and y'all have done a good job, even down to the employees. We couldn't sit up here and do the job we do without the good hard work of the employees, and I do appreciate it.
I agree.
Thank you.
Number 19, motion to approve or reject a settlement offer from Stace Thompson lawsuit. This will be Tuesday only. We will have a executive session before the meeting,
Yes.
and also the same thing on number 20 with the Michael Mullins lawsuit. We will have a session on it, and it will be on Tuesday only. We will not discuss it tonight because we won't have the the meeting before until Tuesday, right?
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
that clears all that up.
Yes, sir.
So that puts us down to mayor and alderman comment. Alderman Brown.
Just like to say thank you. Also, Bruce, I really appreciate your leadership. I observe how every department works as a team. There's not a department here that won't work with another department hand in hand, and we're blessed to have a fire and police department that work together. They work together towards a common goal. We have the same thing between our water departments, our sewer departments, and streets and fleets. We're all a part of one team, and we all have a job to do, and everyone does it. It works beautifully, and I just want to thank everyone for that, and also want to give Bruce credit where credit's due, because that kind of leadership is a skill that not everyone has, and he's able to manage from a point where everyone is autonomous. You have responsibility to do your job and to do it well. He trusts you to do that and doesn't micromanage you, and you guys follow through by doing it. And so it's a beautiful team that we have here, and I appreciate the leadership.
Thank you.
Alderman Cole.
I want to echo those sentiments. Thank you, Bruce, for what you do for the city. I also want to thank Phyllis. Phyllis has been, for the last month, been pouring through the budget, going through questions, emails from all of us. So thank you for all the hard work on that. I want to welcome back Donna with the library. She's back at it. And I want to ask that we include, at least for Tuesday's meeting, a ceremony for the Laverne Interact Club. They are going to be getting a presidential citation, and I think it'd be a good thing to honor those students for the hard work that they're doing.
Again, I want to thank Bruce, and the performance for Bruce reflects him, but it also reflects the whole city employees. Bruce could not do his job well unless he's got employees, and the police department, the fire department, even down to the dispatchers. It's the employees is the backbone of this city, and Bruce got a good performance from the mayor and alderman here, but the main reason he got a good performance is because of the employees. And I appreciate the hard work for Bruce, but Bruce has been here a long time. He knows a lot about Laverne, and that helps in the long run. For a long time, Bruce was the go-to person, even for the previous city administrators. He was kind of the person you go to when you need to know something, and he's for years and years. I don't know how long you've been here, but you was here, I think, when I got on board in 2002.
It'll be 25 years in June.
Wow.
And that's a long time. I think you was right out of not too long out of college when you started here.
That's right.
Who was the mayor?
I had hair back then.
But who was the mayor when you first?
Shirley Winfrey was mayor.
Shirley Winfrey. Yeah. Been there. Say Shirley Winfrey had been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've been through 6 mayors. Mm-hmm. And, you don't have to tell them I was the best, but that's all right. But anyway, I just want to keep the victims down at the Waffle House shooting in everybody's prayers next 30 days. I think all profits that people stop sending and patronize the Waffle House down there is going to go to the victim. I know when we put the metal detector out front, though, we got a lot of criticism for that. But the judge, he's been stumping for that for a long time, and it made no sense to use it at the court, not use it in the mayor and alderman, because somebody could come in here mad over something that happened in the city, and we all could be victims here. A lot of people put criticism about the metal detector, but the shooting at the church on Pinnock Road and the shooting down at the Waffle House, You never know. You never know. You know, we got a good law enforcement here, but we don't want nothing to happen to them. And if that metal detector deters one person coming in here, shooting one person, it's worth the hassle that everybody's got to go through. But we don't want nobody at this board or no people sitting out there, especially not the people that puts their life online every day for us to get hurt. And just, you know, we're lucky. You know, we're lucky because we've had 2 incidents just miles from this building, and we're not immune for something happen here. And I just appreciate everybody giving the 100%, the fire department, the police department, everybody, and it makes us look good up here. We've done a lot of good things in the last 3.5 years, but a lot of it is because of the good employees. And I don't have anything else, so I'm gonna call this workshop over.